Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Juliana. This video is all about hair tips, especially if you're like me and you have fine hair that tends to get weighed down and can look greasy easily. None of the tips that I'm going to share in this video really cost that much, and you can just do them at home. So all of these tips should be very applicable for everyone. And today is really hot and humid, so what better day to talk about how to keep your hair intact. I do want to give a quick shout out to my new membership program. It's basically a Patreon where I post style guides, lookbooks, in-depth style videos. I also host giveaways on there. It's hosted on my website, style-elevated.com. So yeah, definitely check it out if you're interested. I'll leave it in the first link in my bio. My first tip is really more of an indirect tip, is to eat more protein. Since your hair follicles are mostly made of a protein called keratin, it needs a healthy supply of amino acids to really generate this growth and keep your hair healthy. I used to have periods in the past where I didn't really eat enough protein, so I just kind of stuck to carbs. My hair was okay, but it wasn't looking that shiny and it was pretty frizzy. It just seemed like the structural integrity of my hair wasn't there, or just was a lot weaker. Ever since I switched to eating more protein and just implementing more of those foods into my diet, it really made a huge difference. So in terms of protein sources, I actually don't really love eating meat. I mean, I don't mind eating meat, but I don't love preparing it, and I don't like eggs. So that kind of like takes out quite a few protein sources on my end, but I love eating seafood, which I guess some people would consider that meat. I love fish, shrimp, and I also love tofu. I know some people don't really love soy, so that's up to you. A really great one that I think I eat most is Greek yogurt. You can make so much with that. So there's lots of options out there, meat or otherwise. But yeah, add protein to your diet so your hair will be much stronger and less prone to breakage. These tips are not really going to be in any order, so the next tip is going to be regarding hair styling. The way that I get my curls is by doing overnight curls. There's a lot of different tools for heatless waves, but I just use bobby pins. As you can see, I keep my pins in this really cute Totoro box. But yeah, I recommend heatless curling methods, especially again if you have fine hair and you want to curl your hair, but you don't want to fry it every single day. I used to think that's the only way to have nice looking hair, but I've been doing this method since I guess like middle to end of high school, so it's been a little while. I haven't really had any breakage regarding my hair. So yeah, I can show you guys. I do this at night, but it only takes about 6 or 7 minutes to put up. And then in the morning, it only takes me about 1 or 2 minutes to just all take out, because there's no finesse to it. You just kind of like find the bobby pin and extract the bobby pin. And you might think that heatless waves don't really stay in your hair, but oddly enough, I've in the past did like the curling iron, just traditional method, and normally my hair would be straight by the end of the day. But for this, it really tends to stay in my hair. I'm honestly not sure why. I found it more effective than some heated tools that actually damage my hair more. All you have to do is, I do this to my whole head, but I'll show you guys a strand. So you just take a piece like this. The smaller the piece you take, the tighter the curl. But I normally take about this size, and I guess it's about a finger's width. So what you do, and this is easiest when because I do it every night, but I don't wash my hair every night. So once it's already curled, it's much easier to put it back in this curl position. So it's most tricky, I guess, if your hair is naturally straight like mine. The first night when your hair is straight, this can be a little harder to curl it in, but it's really not bad. So you go like this, and then you essentially just curl it in onto itself like this. Just make sure the end is tucked in, and then you just roll it onto itself. So like this, and then you lay it flat onto your head. So essentially it looks like that. And then all you do is I do 2 bobby pins per roll. If you have to use a lot more bobby pins to secure it, then you might have too big of a piece of hair. So all I do, you can't really see it right now what I'm doing, but all I do is make an X shape on the pin. So with the pins, I go like this with 2 pins, and that really secures it in place. So I'll do this with the rest of my head, and then you get this amazing hair helmet. I can put up a video of what it looks like when I take it back out in the morning, and it just really works. At least for my hair texture, my hair, since it is pretty fine, it's pretty moldable. If you have really sleek, strong hair, it can be a little harder for it to get the curl going. But I found this really effective, and I always promote it in my videos because all you really need are bobby pins. You don't really need a magic product. I think it's very effective. One of the most effective curling methods I've tried. So yeah, I do all my curls, and then I essentially just go to sleep like that. I would recommend, do as I say, not as I do. I should get a silk bonnet, almost like a hair cap. I know people with curly hair tend to do that, but I think that will further reduce any breakage that you could get from sleeping with it. But again, my hair is really quite fine, but I haven't had a great deal of breakage from doing this method. And when I learned how to do this, they said to do it on damp hair, and I've tried both ways. The thing is, damp hair is good, it's very moldable, but just make sure it's not wet, because sometimes if I do it on wet hair, when I take it back out in the morning, it's still wet and it doesn't curl. So I end up doing it mostly on dry hair and it still works really well. Just kind of experiment like that, but I don't necessarily think you have to have your hair really damp. So the next tip is going to be another lifestyle one, and honestly it's one that I kind of struggle with, so that's partly why I wanted to include it in this video, but it's to not stress. And when I say stress, I mean both physically, mentally, and emotionally. We tend to disconnect stress with our physical appearance, but stress affects everything. It builds inflammation in our body, and it manifests in our physical appearance. And at least personally, I feel like I can get very addicted to being stressed, or just the idea of being busy, staying busy. So it's definitely good to be productive, but I found that taking more time to relax or taking more time to kind of detox from certain things that may be draining your energy, and it will change how healthy your hair is. It's just very indirect, so we don't always make the connection. But definitely our hair, our skin, and our nails, they are all markers of our internal health. So in that sense, I mean, everyone's lifestyle is different, so I can't really say how exactly to address each person's stress, but I guess it's our own personal responsibility to manage our own stress and make sure that we don't really let it take over our life, so that we can have, I guess, not only a healthy body, but a healthy, polished appearance as well. And I think that's why it's very common to get hair loss in this region. I think a lot of women who get pregnant and have had a baby, they can experience hair loss in this area because it is physically traumatic in a way to have a child. So yeah, I definitely think it's really important and not talked about enough. I feel like we always talk about hair products and how to stimulate hair growth, but it's almost like if we get rid of the trigger of hair loss, it can be even more powerful. Okay, the next tip is to not wash your hair too often. This is something that I've learned the hard way and learned slowly. I used to wash my hair every day, and then it switched to washing my hair every other day. Now I currently wash my hair every 2 days. I've seen a direct correlation with how healthy my hair looks with how infrequently I wash it. Like, I found it noticeably to be shinier and less frizzy, just feels stronger in general. But if you have fine hair like me, you'll know the struggle. It requires some discipline to not wash your hair, because by the third or even second day, it can look really greasy. But I think it's very important, because if you wash your hair all the time, you'll be stripping your hair of its natural, or stripping your scalp of its natural oils. So your scalp kind of freaks out and overcompensates by producing even more oil. So then you'll feel the urge to wash it more, and then the cycle repeats. My hair, at least, essentially became oily and dry at the same time, which is just not what you want. So I really found that just washing it less fixes this issue. And you can essentially train your hair to need to be washed less, just as washing it often makes you feel like you need to wash it often. If you wash it less, your hair oils won't be as affected, so it won't be producing an excessive amount, and it will feel less greasy in between hair washes. Now for that last day before you wash your hair, another tip that I have is I tend to gravitate towards some default hairstyles that are more sleek, so they're really compatible with greasier hair. So like I said, this can include things like a simple bun, and since my hair would be greasy, it looks like a slick back bun. Or something else I really like are Dutch braids. I think they're very sleek, I think they look pretty cool, and they're really suited to greasier hair since the braids look smoother. When I do it with very clean hair, I can have a lot of baby hairs that kind of just poke out. And even if your hair is not particularly greasy, but you're going out and it's really humid day or it's really windy day, basically any kind of weather where if you go out you're assaulted by the elements, I recommend just putting your hair up, especially if you have longer hair, just putting up your hair in a bun when you don't need it to be down and to look good. I do this all the time. Every time I go out, it's pretty much always in a bun. So that way when I'm meeting someone, I can just take it right out of the bun and it's just fresh hair that just looks like very effortless. So that's what I recommend, especially a twisted bun really preserves the curls in your hair, but it looks very effortless and intentional. Let's talk products. Again, like I said, I do think what you do in your lifestyle and how you treat your hair without any products is the most important part. I found that hair products can take your hair from good to great, but most hair products, especially those just like at the drugstore or more commercially available, they won't necessarily repair and restore your hair. So if you have structural issues with your hair, definitely implement the first tips that I mentioned, and that's also the reason I'm mentioning products last. But hair products can be very effective in terms of styling. Oh, also in terms of products. This is not really a styling tool, but I wanted to talk for a second about gummy hair supplements. If you've tried some and you think that they really work, I need you to comment down below and tell us which ones they are. I've never tried some that truly make a difference. I do feel like I'm probably ruining my chances of a gummy hair sponsorship, but I just haven't really ever found them to truly make a measurable difference. However, I do think the placebo effect is real. So if you take this gummy supplement and you feel like you're doing it to make your hair better, I actually think that that does improve your hair, just thought alone. But that's another topic, so just let us all know, don't gatekeep if you found the magic gummy product. So for fine hair especially, I would recommend swapping out your hairspray and swapping in texturizing spray. Hairspray, at least for me, has always weighed my hair down and made it look crunchy and stringy. I know there's ones that are maybe more formulated for finer hair. Just in my experience though, I've always found them to be a little heavy, and if I'm not washing my hair every day, I cannot handle just crunchy, stringy hair for multiple days. Therefore, I would recommend a texturizing spray. I will say these do still leave a bit of a film on your hair, but they're a lot lighter, and I think that they do more of the job in defining curls and creating shape, hence texturizing spray. This one is the one that I've been using. It's from Innersense. It's called I Create Waves. It's the pink Himalayan salt spray to add texture and enhance waves. Okay, the next one, I would swap out hair oil. I've tried many hair oils and I've always found them to just weigh my hair down. No matter what, even if the hair oil is meant to be lightweight, it always just seems to drag my hair down and really make it look quite stringy. So instead, I use a hair serum. I quite like this one from Elvive. From L'Oreal. I mentioned it in multiple of my videos and I really do like it. I think at the same time though, and this one is a heat protectant, so if you do end up using heat tools on your hair, it's always good to have a heat protectant beforehand. I think any kind of hair serum though that has a high water content and a high glycerin content will essentially do the same thing. This one's just a more affordably priced one, and yeah, it does all the things that I wish a hair oil did for my hair. It gives it a lot of shine, it reduces frizz, and it keeps things very bouncy. It doesn't really make things super crunchy with my hair. Another product that's great for fine hair, but hair in general, is dry shampoo. So my favorite one still remains to be Batiste Original. I have tried so many from the drugstore and they all suck. They're like a knockoff of hairspray. They just leave this film on your hair and I'm not a fan of that. So I like that one. I think it actually works. But I want to share with you guys, this one's from Odell. This is their dry shampoo. It's with plant proteins and 100% natural fragrance. Actually didn't. Oh, it does have a fragrance. Yeah, it smells very organic. This one's really cool. It's actually a powder. Essentially, all you do is you either put some on your hand like this, or I just kind of like stick it straight onto my scalp. I just go like this. I let it marinate for a second, and then you massage it into your hair. With all dry shampoos, especially if you have darker hair, just make sure you really massage it in to avoid any kind of white cast. I really recommend this one because I find the packaging so cool. I don't know why other people haven't thought of this. It's always in a big can, but I do think dry shampoo is not only great for reducing oil, but also to build volume, since fine hair, like that can be another issue or another struggle to not have your hair look flat. So I would really recommend dry shampoo like before a hairspray, even though they serve different purposes, just in the sense of volumizing your hair. And the last thing that I want to mention is regarding your hair part. This is more of just a pure styling tip. You can know which type of hair part looks best on you based on your face shape. So if you have a really round face, I think a side part tends to look better, since a side part will make the hair lay kind of unnaturally, in the sense that it won't lay with its natural part. There will be more volume at the top of the head. It kind of elongates your head, and doing so elongates your face. That being said, the opposite tends to be true with a more long face. If you have an oblong or oval face, you don't really want to further elongate your face and your head. So in that case, a middle part tends to be best, since it's quite flat at the top, and therefore it can give your head a lot more width, which looks a lot more balanced. I'm someone with a hard face shape, so I tend to like a side part more because I think my overall facial contours tend to be more round, but I do sometimes dabble with a middle part. It does depend on my outfit and mood at the time. So yeah guys, that's all I have for you for this video. Definitely let me know what kinds of videos you'd like to see next. I've been kind of slacking on my long form video content. I've been just focusing more, I guess, on Instagram recently, and this new members club, which again, if you want to join, it's in the description, but I definitely want to get more into it. Also, let me know if you like this kind of more chatty video. I normally script out my videos a lot more, but I was just getting tired of that. I don't know. I just want my videos to be enjoyable and easy to watch for you guys. So yeah, just let me know, and I'll see you guys all very soon. Bye!